Coffee and Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners: Best Cord Cutting TV, Bravo's Restaurant Bar, El Rey Lounge de Versalles, Joint Boutique Hotel and Cowork, Monzon Brewing Company, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Puerto Vallarta Owners Reps, Oculto, and Siam Cocina Thai. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners. I'm so sorry to sound weird, but well, first of all, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. It is a pleasure to see you today on Thursday, April 10th. Thursday, April 10th is a date that I'm going to remember because today, for the first time ever, thanks to the wonderful Telmex gods, I am able to broadcast live to Facebook and YouTube at the same time. We have enough bandwidth. For the record, or just for as an FYI, when I'm looking at your comments appear on my window, they have a little icon that says, of course, it shows the Facebook icon. So it shows that you are commenting from Facebook. And I'm just wondering if anybody will comment from YouTube. We've never broadcast live to YouTube before, so we'll see how it goes. But for the rest of us, it's business as usual as far as your commenting and whatnot. So here we are. We'll see how this happens. We hope we won't implode. But again, we did some tests yesterday, and we seem to have enough bandwidth to do this. It is Thursday, April 10th. It is Music Appreciation Presentation Day. I am so jazzed to present my presentation. Hello. To present Rent today, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. We'll talk about that in a little while. First, we're going to go through our news as usual, but as always, particularly since we are broadcasting live to Facebook for the first time, a quick reminder, feel free to add a capital letter N if you're watching. Well, we've never broadcast live to YouTube before, so of course anybody commenting will be new. So we are going to be so cheerful to anybody that shows up with a comment from YouTube. It's not even funny. And for the rest of us, as usual, adding a capital letter Q to your comments goes a long way in allowing us to showcase them later on in the comment section. Let us get started with our news. Not only are our beaches suitable for swimming in terms of cacawater molecules, but Puerto Vallarta celebrated Playa de Oro's achievement of earning the prestigious Beach Quality Certification and White Flag from Mexico's Ministry of Environmental and Natural Resources, also known as Semarnat. This is an important recognition that highlights the city's dedication to sustainability, safety, and environmental protection. And if you're wondering where Playa de Oro is, just in case, it is the beach located between Peninsula and the Maritime Terminal further north. I've never actually been to this beach, I dare confess, because it's a beach that caters primarily to the hotels that are there. There are no services that I know of, but I could be wrong. Maybe it's a small little shack where one can get edibles if you're not staying at one of those hotels. And I'm totally intrigued by that little, what is that, a gazebo? I've never been there, so now I'm curious about walking down that beach to see what is there. You let me know if you think that's a walking tour that you would enjoy by writing the word beach. Yes, the word beach will give me enough of a sign. And let's see. Meanwhile, as you know, Sayulita Beach didn't make the cacawater cut, but at least the mayor of Bahia de Banderas acknowledged the problem and how it will be addressed. And this is something we don't see happen all that frequently here in Puerto Vallarta. I mean, we see certain dependencies acknowledging a problem, but we don't see the mayor. Hint, hint, Mungia, if things go wrong, it'd be nice to hear from you. And with Semana Santa around the corner, we receive a timely reminder from the Federal Consumer Protection Bureau. It is illegal for restaurants in Mexico to add the tip to your bill. Enough said. If this happens to you, refuse the bill and feel free to stick to your ground without making a scene. It is simply not a lawful thing to do, and it is something that restaurants tend to do, particularly when you are there with a large group and you might be a little distracted. So keep an eye on that bill and make sure that your tip has not been pre-added to the total. A few days ago, we informed of the fact that Puerto Vallarta's administration has been carrying a debt that now ascends to 800 million pesos since 1987, when the city purchased a piece of land to build a trash dump and then forgot to pay for it, which is not very nice. But now we also learned that our neighbor municipality of Bahía de Banderas in the state of Nayarit is also accumulating a debt that ascends to more than 47 million pesos for approximately 620 different legal suits against the municipality, some of which date back to 2013. So I'm not an expert at these things, but it seems to be the case in which an administration either loses legal action or doesn't deliver on payments, and then they simply forget about it. And then comes the next administration and they are reminded, and they probably try to maneuver their way to not paying or not owning to the responsibility, and so forth and so on. So these bills have accumulated not only in Puerto Vallarta's municipality, but also in the municipality of Bahía de Banderas. I have no idea whether this is common or not elsewhere, but it is a lot of money. And it is a lot of money considering the fact that, of course, the city has to pay for so many things just to keep the city running. And speaking of keeping the city running, it is bad when bad things have to happen in order to trigger positive change. Apparently, a tourist was badly injured last week while stepping into this damaged beam at Los Muertos Pier. And part of me wants to say, didn't they just fix the pier a few months ago? But we also want to think about the reality, which is that this work is never done. And hopefully the city and state will address this particular issue promptly. Meanwhile, please be careful where you step, particularly if you're stepping on the beams of Los Muertos Pier. Now let's take a look at the weather forecast and see what's going on out there. Snarky weatherman. Snarky weatherman says, tariffs? What tariffs? And that's enough said. It's 26 degrees out there. Humidity, it's a 63%. Our weather forecast says today is humid with clear skies throughout the day, a high of 28 and a low of 17. Then tomorrow, Friday, we can expect clear skies throughout the day with a high of 28 and a low of 16. And then on Saturday, we will have a humid day with clear skies, a high of 28 and a low of 17. And that's what we have. And now moving on to the second half of our broadcast, we begin with a shout out to our dear crafting friends at the Annex Studio Gallery PV in Cinco de Diciembre. On Saturdays, you can go there and pick a project to work on at your own pace with guided instruction. How fun is that? This is happening this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then I have this news about pianist Bing Young performing the following day. He's performing the Songs of My Life at Christ Church by the Sea. There's not much detail in terms of what he's actually going to play, but he's going to play. Then we also learned that the traditional Oyster Festival in Bucerias is back this coming April 19th and 20th, where you can enjoy one of, or more than one of, over 5,000 free oysters that will be offered to those present, along with many other culinary treats, which sounds yummy if you like oysters. And then this one totally caught my attention. This is coming for, it's not coming for another couple of weeks, not until the 26th, but this is an exhibition of cat related visual arts, which is going to happen in a space that I'm not familiar with in Colonia, Cinco de Diciembre. This features curated works by over 24 artists. All the explanations and all the description is in Spanish, which is not good or bad. It just shows the big divide that happens sometimes with cultural and interesting activities going on in the city. And unfortunately, this is one of those other cases in which, just look at the art. The art is interesting. It was interesting enough to catch my attention, but it is one of those cases in which this is the original art. You click on the image that appears on Facebook, and it is unfortunate that sometimes the promotional art loses half of its power when it is cropped to fit a Facebook event. But, it happens. It is unfortunate. And here, for example, or for a change, this is another event which is not only for a good cause, but it features an image that fits the parameter or the size or the proportion of a Facebook event. Yay. Of course, this is the annual Rio Quale Volunteer Cleanup event, which is organized by Donner and Associates. Thank you so much, Ryan and company, for giving back to the community. This is awesome. And also, a couple of days ago, without much fanfare, I uploaded my latest walking tour to YouTube. This is a walk that I did down the Malecón at sundown. I remember a few months ago, somebody asked me, why don't you walk the Malecón at night? And the reason why I hadn't walked the Malecón at night is because I didn't have the proper gear to do this. When, I didn't have a camera that I can hold without making it too shaky. But long story short, I now have the power to do this. So I walked the Malecón. This is a walk that I did over 2 weeks ago. And it's interesting because I remember at the time thinking to myself, ooh, I'm going to have to do a lot of editing on this walk because there was a lot of commercial music being played in one restaurant or another or nightclub and whatnot. And of course, YouTube frowns when this happens. So 2 weeks went by and I went to look at it and I'm like, what am I going to do? I don't want to spend a lot of time editing this. So what I decided to do for the first time ever is to have a reaction to my own walk. So when I knew that there was commercial music coming up, I just started speaking. So do let me know if you're going to watch this. Let me know what you thought about the walk. I look forward to hearing your comments after the fact. And of course, this is last call for this afternoon's rent presentation at the Joint Boutique Hotel. I am so excited to do this presentation. I look forward to 3 broad categories of audience. Those people that remember the AIDS crisis and lived closely through it and can appreciate how much resonance Rent created when it first appeared on Broadway. Then there might be those people that were around, but one way or another were not directly affected by the AIDS epidemic. So a little bit of context will go along the way to remember why this show was so important then and why it continues to be important. And third, I know that I'm going to get at least 1 or 2 audience members that were not even born or they were toddlers in 1996 when Rent first premiered. And they don't know the AIDS epidemic. The only epidemic that they know is the pandemic. So it'll be really amazing and cathartic. I know I'm going to be a mess. in connecting all these three groups to the amazing power of Rent the musical. And this happens this afternoon. So I am so excited to do it. 5 o'clock at the Joint Boutique Hotel. Hopefully you can make it. And now I think we're ready for comments. Let's see if we got at least one comment from YouTube. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, wow. But that's cheating, Larsito. It is my dear Lars. Thank you, Lars. Thank you, Lars, for being the first person to ever comment on live coffee and headlines from YouTube. Woot woot.
Almost done.
Yes, woot woot and an applause. Thank you, Lars. Thank you, Lars. You know, that almost deserves the Lars anecdote that I was going to share today. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Yes, there's more. I was going to hold this content till tomorrow, but I'm going to do it today. So yesterday, after I did my interviews at, hold on, cut the chit chat music. Yesterday, after I did my interviews for the Spotlight, Lars stopped by and surprised me at the Joint Boutique Hotel, but I knew it was Wednesday, and I know that on Wednesdays or Sundays, Lars enjoys his ice bath at Raíces Chocolateria, an amazing space. It's a restaurant. It's a wellness place. The central theme here is cacao and chocolate, Mexican-style chocolate, and they have all kinds of wellness activities on Wednesdays and Sundays. So Lars has been dunking, I call it dunking, in an ice bath since I know him at this place. And I figured I'm going to tag along just to check it out. I had interviewed Lalo, the sweet man that runs the place before, but this was the first time that I walked into the space. So I got there, and what an amazing vibe in this tiny little eatery. What an eclectic group of people speaking Spanish and English from different walks of life I met there. It was just awesome. But I had one particular connection with this lovely woman that left me grinning ear to ear. She is a person from north of the border that lives here full time. And we started talking. She does community work at an organization called Club Vallarta that I had never heard of. They do volunteering work in all those colonias, those fringe colonias that I doubt you would call paradise when you do. So right from the beginning, I knew that she is the kind of English-speaking person I love connecting with. And then she commented on my pendant, my Made in Mexico pendant. And I quickly explained to her the story behind this designation, because it dates back to the 1970s. And of course, I explained that I'm wearing it as a result of all the tariff information, the tariff stuff that is going on in the world. And with three words, this woman stole my heart. She said, "I love Claudia." And of course, I knew that she was referring to President Claudia Sheinbaum. But with those three words, what she really told me is, I live here. I am connected to what's going on here. I am aware of the cultural, political, sociological landscape of this country that I love, and I am well informed. Tómala. I was so happy to connect with her, and I am always happy to connect with people that take the time to get to know what is going on here. And now, enough said. Now, back to our chit chat. Let's see what we got. Ta-da-ta-ta. Let's see. Do-do-do-do. We have good mornings. Thank you very much. We have good mornings. And I'm going to show this again. Do you see the little, there's a little YouTube baby icon that shows up there. I am so excited. Gina, I haven't seen you in a while, but it's nice to see you. Good morning. Let's see. Beach. Okay. Beach. I have a new mission. I'll go walking this Playa de Oro beach. I may bring a lunch just because I don't know if I'm going to be able to sit down and eat somewhere, anywhere, but I'll do my little walk just to see what I find. Thank you very much for that. I'm not a fan either, but a lot of people love them. So, it's a great thing to know that there's something for everyone. Let's see what else we have. Da 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 da. Clemmy, hello, Clemmy. Clemmy loves oysters, so there you have it. We all have our favorite foods, and that's okay too. And with that said, I want to thank you, as always, for being here. I want to thank Lars for being our first YouTube commenter ever. Thank you, Larsito. And I want to thank you all for being an active part of this community and for supporting it. We cannot do this without you. So I'm going to go get pretty, and I'm going to go get ready for this afternoon's presentation at the Joint Boutique Hotel and Co-work. Tomorrow we'll be back in the morning for more coffee and headlines. And hopefully, moving forward, we will be able to continue to broadcast live, not only to Facebook, but also to YouTube as well. Have an amazing day.